Hello and welcome to another DCS mission editor tutorial. This one's going to be a short mini one, and by the end of this we're going to show how to cargo stuff in a helicopter, how to add trains onto the track, and how to make a subsequent part of a mission unfold based on the cargo getting there successfully. Now, believe it or not, I just recorded this mission, this video. Thank goodness it was a mini one, because at the end of it I realized I didn't press this button here, and so all that you saw for the entire mission was that splash screen. So with that out of the way, let's get on with it. So as I zoomed in here, I'm on the channel map, but again, you can have any map that you want, and of course you can, if you don't have this map, you can get the trial and give it a go. It is a really nice map for the helicopters, just because there's so much detail low down. I went into a valley somewhere where there was a train track. You see, there's a whole bunch of them. Let's go with this one here. I don't think it was here, but this will do. First thing we're going to do is add the Huey helicopter down. So I'm going to come over to the icon here and come over to Huey. Again, add any helicopter you want. They are all capable of carrying cargo. Even the Kamov, the KA-50 can do so. Get the skill down to player and choose the type from takeoff from ground hot. You can obviously have a cold start if you want. Apparently the terrain there not completely flat, so let's try it again here. Take off from ground hot. There we go. We're going to face towards the track, and the reason is like this. By turning this one round, is we're going to have a train going along the track just as a bit of eye candy. Unfortunately, we're not able to make the cargo dependent on the train. It doesn't allow us to do that without some complicated scripting, which is even beyond my level. But what we are going to do is have a nice train. So let's come over to the ground unit, just plonk it down here. And under the category there, come down to train. If we then press this icon here, we see we've got wagons. We can create our train. This Loco Class 86 happens to be a steam train. So we're going to press add one time there to add the steam train. And on this drop down here, we can see we've got a bunch of units that we can be pulling along. Let's just try a couple of coaches and then a freight van. How about that? We'll come back over to the waypoint page. We'll give it a speed of something like 30 knots. And then we're going to add a solitary waypoint. Again, this black thing's the track. You can see it defaults to the track. We're going to add a solitary waypoint here. I assume this is the main track through, and this would be like the siding. So let's add a point here. This being the first waypoint for the train, let's zoom out and look for a second one. And this is just going to be out the way. So over there is fine. Again, it's just to go off into the distance. Let's bring the waypoints back over to waypoint 1, come to the edit mode and advanced settings. And let's add a hold here. So under perform task, let's press hold. And on the stop condition, now this isn't a stop condition with regards to the train is going to stop if this. It's that the hold is what it's going to do, and it's going to stop doing whatever the task is, in this case, the hold, when this condition's being met. In other words, it's going to stop stopping or resume but onto waypoint 2. Bit of a double negative thing going on there. What we're going to do is just click on the duration property here. And you see the default is set to 15 minutes. We're just going to change that to 2. So in other words, the train's going to come along here, stop here for about 2 minutes, and then carry on, which is what we want. Again, it's just a bit of eye candy. Nothing's going to be based on this. We could even rename it to train. And there we go. What I am going to do is add the cargo in here. So if we come over to this one, the add static object one, we're going to place it down. You see here there's a bunch of trees. We want to give ourselves a bit of room. We see there's another tree there. Perhaps here or even here may be even better. So let's place it there. Under category, let's come down to cargoes. And here we see we've got the ammo. Now I've found that 3,000 and some pound, it's yes, it's possible, but it's quite difficult for the Huey. What might make more sense is just to lower the weight a little bit. Let's try 26 or thereabouts. I'm just going to rename the name of it here to, I'm just going to call it Ammo 26. Let's call it here the Cargo and 26, just to give them unique names. And that will do. We're now going to look at where to drop this cargo off. So perhaps we can fly just towards this town. Do you know what? There's a nice little spot here. This is perfect. Let's add some units that are basically in our story going to be waiting for it. So once again, a ground unit. Change the category from train, to armor. And I was going to do World War II stuff, but again, with a Huey, don't really fit, does it? So let's put some other tanks in. I mean, of course, there's nothing stopping you using the World War II, but I'm just going to put a small collection here. Perhaps there we go. And we'll just rename this group the armor. And I'm just going to place them into a little sort of a circle thing. Always group 1 first, because that moves all the rest of them. So yeah, he can face that way. This guy can face into the crowd, or the buildings as it were, that way. He can face down south. This one can face sort of southeast, and this one over here can face northeast. There we go. If I come sort of into the middle, this is where I want to land. If I go to the middle, hold the mouse wheel down, I can see I've got some sort of a range here. So certainly 100 feet is going to be good. Let's go with that. It's not too big. I'm going to rename the zone here, the trigger zone, from the default name to DZ, just because it makes more sense, the drop zone. What we're going to do, come now to the add static here and come over to the categories, drop down to structures, and under the type, we're going to look for the tire with the red flag, which is here, mark tire with red flag. Just drop it down there. Then we're going to click on it so it's highlighted, and with a mouse over it, Control C to copy, deselect it. And now I'm going to walk around this trigger ring and just press Control V every so often. So Control V, and so on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That'll do. I'm going to come over to the original guy and change it actually from the tire with a flag. And we're going to look for the windsock, which is here. Perhaps we can place one there. Do you know what? We can even copy that and then Control V, perhaps place another one here. There we go. Let's come over to the weather tab now. Choose whichever clouds that you like. I always like to vary it between the different missions just to see what they're all like. I'm going to go with this one. Looks quite nice. Let's add a bit of wind so that there is a little bit of flutterage. Again, not too much. I'm just going to go 2, 4, 6, 8 like that. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8. And let's just give a little bit of a heading. 44, 47, and 51. Something like that. And just a tiny bit of turbulence, perhaps 20. Again, that's going to be almost imperceptible at these low numbers, but it's just a little bit of something. So with that done, let's now... Again, you might just want a cargo move mission and that be the end of it, but it might also be the precursor to the sort of part 2 of a mission. And let's just assume it is precursor to part 2. What I'm going to do is come over to the airbase here and put down any aircraft that you like. I think I'm going to go for the Mirage. And I'm going to change the skill to client, and so that you'll be able to fly this, but not yet. And the way that we're going to prevent that is by pressing late activation. Type is going to be takeoff from ground hot. Why not? I'm going to choose a position on the field because most of these are grass and these points here look too small. The Mirage can't go over the grass. Do you know what? Let's put the Mirage here and we're just going to have it facing 168. So it's in line. And when we roll out, we see this is a neutral airbase. Let's click there once and change the coalition to blue. So it's friendly. But because although it's a client, because we set it to late activation, the player, yes, can select this plane, but if he tries to start the mission, it'll kick him out. It'll go back to won't reset the mission. It'll just not let him get in the cockpit. But we're going to change that because when the player drops this ammo off, that's basically going to unlock part 2. Again, you can come up with your own story. Might make more sense to deliver the ammo to the base in question. You do it however you want. I'm just showing you how. So the key is going to be that sorry for the in and out, that the cargo here is moved into the drop zone. So let's come down to the triggers. It's going to be a one-time thing, and we're going to say the cargo is there yet. No, the sort of, are we there yet? Do you know, let's change that. Are we there yet? There we go. And the condition will drop down, and it's going to be cargo unhooked in zone. There's only one piece of cargo, the one that we named cargo 26. There's only one zone, the DZ. And so when that's satisfied, action. We're going to come over, and it's going to be our friend, the flag, and we're just going to have flag number 1 on. So if you're just making a cargo mission at this point, that's it. If you're doing sort of a 2-part mission where the player does a job first, which is move the cargo, and then something second, I don't know, some kind of mission in the Mirage or whatever it is, that second part of the mission is now unlocked based on this flag 1. And the way that we're going to do that in this case, we're going to come down to the triggers, and we're just going to call it, let's just call it mission part 2, unlock. And the condition is, as we've just said, that flag 1 becomes true. And the action is going to be group activate. And I think you can guess which one. It's going to be the Mirage. I don't think we named it, so it's currently Aerial-1. This is a good time to show something. So we've got group activate Aerial 1, but we want it to be the Mirage. Well, we know it's the Mirage because it can't be anything else. This is Rotary 1. Let's rename this from Rotary 1 to Huey, just so it's more clear. And we'll do the same for the pilot, Huey. But if we come over to the, where are we? It's quite a ways away. The Mirage, we see it's called Aerial 1 and Aerial 1-1. So let's rename it now to the Mirage, the M2000. Let's call the pilot Mirage, and let's click away. Now, if we come back to our triggers and we see here's the unlock, we see it's automatically updated the group to M2000. So don't worry about changing the names. The mission editor is clever enough to know that you still meant that aircraft. And as you can see, we've also got the Huey to choose from now as well. So just that little tidbit there, that is now going to work. And with that, let's try it. Let's preview the mission. I'm not going to save. Let's try getting in the Mirage then, see what happens. Let's fly. Oh, your flight is delayed. Please wait. Well, I'm going to try and ignore that. Oh, it doesn't work, and I've still got a view by these tanks. Okay, let's try that one more time. There's clearly some sort of a bug, right? Clearly, if you're making this mission for other people, you have to put that in the description that the Mirage will not work until you've done the first part. Okay, let's choose the Huey. Okay, let's turn that down a tad. I'm just going to clear up my display there, and there we go. This here, you see the mission with respect to the Mirage. Your flight is delayed. Let's get rid of that. And let's get rid of the labels. And where's the train? There it is. There's our lovely train. Whoops, sorry for the camera work. There we go. Looking good. Again, the cargo is not dependent upon this train arriving. It is just so we've got something to look at, some eye candy. Very nice. Okay, let's go. I mean, you could even add in your mission, follow the train to find the cargo. Something like that. And unfortunately, as I've said before, we can't make the cargo wait for the train. You could find some other way to prevent the player from getting there until the train's there, like some sort of a SAM site that gets taken out once the train arrives there. You know, there's any number of little tricks to get round certain limitations. And as we approach, I'm going to try and find where my radio... Here we go, and come to cargoes, and there's the cargo 2.6, and we see it's 2.5. I'm going to increase the revs on my helo. By default, you always see the cargo smoking once you've selected it from the radio menu. Don't want to end up in VRS. I think that was a pretty good approach. As far as it goes. Right, let's reset the trim here and see if we can pick this up. By reset trim, I mean pilot trimmer.
Down. 10. Forward. 30.
Oops. As you can see, there's an awful lot of vegetation nearby. Don't want to get rammed by that train either. That would be a disaster.
In position. You are good.
Excellent. Let's try lift it up.
The line is tight.
Looks like we got it.
Load is hanging.
Oh, not into the trees. No, please. Oh, did we get away with it? Oh, looks like we just about got away with it.
The load is swinging side to side. 10.
Yeah.
The load is swinging side to side. 10.
Oh, no, no, no.
The load is swinging side to side. 100.
Wow, that's quite hard to hover with. If you look at that load swinging underneath me, it's really raving my heli about. Let's try lowering it gently. Oh no. I wonder if it... I know I crashed it. I wonder if it's going to have unlocked the... Oh no, I'm way outside the circle. So with that... Where's the cargo? Yeah, the cargo's on the floor here outside. So if I try and choose the Mirage, it shouldn't work. So I feel like it was a successful mission editor tutorial with a completely failed... an AI decides to take over the Huey and what's this? The Pogo Champion Olympic stick. All right, take care. Until next time. It's been a funny one. Bye-bye. Boing, boing, boing. surprised the AI isn't writing that thing off.